So I just had a full conversation with AI over text, and it just booked me into the agent's calendar with all my details. If you want real estate agents as clients, stop selling generic chatbots and give them a system that turns missed calls into booked showings. What's up? I'm Adiraj, and today I'm walking you through building this end-to-end with n8n, Twilio, and ChatGPT. If you're committed to closing deals for your AI agency, make sure to hit subscribe and let's dive right in. So this automation runs on two connected pieces that work in tandem, right? First piece is the instant responder. When someone's call drops to voicemail, Twilio detects it. It's going to trigger an immediate SMS. Speed is everything here because prospects are in buying mode right that second, actively evaluating options and super ready to commit. Second piece is the intelligent scheduling piece. This is the assistant that's going to take over the moment that they text back. ChatGPT handles everything. So it pulls the agent's Google Calendar to see what's open, asks qualifying questions, like whether they're buying versus selling. It's going to propose appointment windows based on what the person actually needs. And the entire interaction lives in SMS with zero downloads and zero complexity whatsoever, which is absolutely perfect because real estate pros spend half their day commuting between listings, sitting across from clients, or hammering out these contract terms where they physically cannot answer their phone constantly. And so this catches every single call that would otherwise evaporate into nothing. All right, so let's talk about the build. Step one is going ahead and creating your Twilio account. Go to twilio.com, complete the sign up, and you need to provision a phone number that becomes your incoming call capture point. This feeds everything into the n8n automation. This is the phone number that I've programmed for the incoming calls. And honestly, the configuration can be easier. When inbound calls are hit and nobody answers, whether the line's occupied, rings through, or the connection drops, Twilio packages all of that, call metadata, and then pushes it to your webhook endpoint, which I will show you momentarily. But you can see it being called right here and also down here, right? And for deploying to clients now, you've got two paths. Option A is provisioning them to a dedicated Twilio line, and this is specifically for the buyer leads, while option two is actually where you configure call forwarding from whatever number they're already using. Either way is totally fine, as long as Twilio successfully is going to capture those unanswered calls, so nothing's going to fall through the cracks. Now let's go back to n8n, and the good news is that you're not building this from scratch. I've already done all the hard work for you, and all you need to do is go to my school community. There's going to be a dedicated module for this tutorial. All the files are going to be attached. So just hit these three dots up here and then click import from file. And all of this should pop up just like it is for me, for you. Okay. Now, as I said, these are two separate flows right here, right? Top flow is going to manage the missed call detection and fire that opening text, while the bottom flow is where our AI scheduling coordinator lives. Now let's break down each one. Okay. So as I said, this top flow is going to handle the missed call detection and launches the first touch point. Starts off with this webhook right here. Basically, each time someone dials the agent's line, Twilio is going to fire the call data into this endpoint with the caller number and the call outcome status, like busy, unanswered, or connection failure, which signals it wasn't picked up, right? Next, after this, we've got an HTTP request node. And this is just hitting an API layer validation service to confirm the number is a legit number, formatted correctly, because there's no point wasting our SMS credits on fake or invalid numbers. After that, we have an if node, which basically evaluates for the call status, whether it was busy, unanswered, or failed. But if the call shows actually connected, then everything stops because there's nothing to do. Then we have a wait node over here that basically holds for 1 second to ensure the call fully terminates, because you absolutely don't want text messages firing while someone's still potentially on the line. And last but not least, we have the Twilio send message node that delivers the text with the first message. And over here, you can see I've set it up with, hi, it's LA Real Estate. Sorry we missed your call. Are you looking to buy, sell, rent, or invest? So we're qualifying the caller immediately. And I've also made it so it feels casual and conversational because we are starting a real dialogue and we don't want to just slam them with a sales pitch immediately. All right, now we can move on to the bottom flow. And this bottom flow is honestly where the magic happens because this is what's orchestrating the full appointment booking dialogue once they respond, okay? So we kick off with another webhook. And essentially, this one's listening for incoming text messages. Remember, because we already sent the first one. And so now we're listening for the incoming, all the responses. And every response from the prospect's going to land here as Twilio. What it's doing is it's forwarding the message content and their phone number. Okay, so next up comes this Google Sheets node. All we're doing in here is grabbing the appointment ID. So the AI understands if this is a reschedule versus a fresh booking. Okay, now after this, we have a code node for extracting the ID. This code node basically pulls out the latest appointment ID when one exists. Super critical, actually, for preventing duplicate calendar entries when someone wants to actually change their times. All right, so following that, we're going to log every inbound message to Google Sheets where each prospect text gets timestamped and tagged with a direction in to build a complete conversation archive. And so here is what the spreadsheet looks like. You're about to see it populate very shortly once we get to the demo. Now, after this, we have another code node, which injects live date and time data into the workflow. Now, why do we have this node, right? It's completely essential and it's a non-negotiable because our AI must know the current moment to avoid hallucinating, which they do quite often, and suggesting time slots that are already in the past. This code's going to extract the current hour and minute in the agent's local time zone and then feed it downstream, okay? Now, after this, we hit the brain of the system, which is the AI scheduling coordinator node powered by OpenAI. So you can see over here, we do have 5 distinct tools, right? So tool 1 is get availability, which is going to query the agent's Google Calendar and return occupied time slots. An empty response just means it's a completely open schedule. Tool 2 is create event, which builds the calendar appointment once the prospect selects a time. It can include a bunch of useful information, like their name, property, bunch of details right in the description. Tool 3 is save appointment ID, which writes the appointment reference back to Google Sheets immediately after creation, so we can pull it later for rescheduling. Then we have tool 4, which is updating the event. This is going to handle modifications to existing appointments. So when someone already has a showing and wants to shift the time, this updates the calendar entry instead of making duplicates. And then we have tool 5, which is the date and time calculator that the AI is going to use to figure out what date tomorrow is, or also for computing the business day offsets, or for rescheduling. Okay, so now over here, conversation memory. AI also maintains conversation memory by tracking the previous 8 messages, and you can increase or decrease this. And it tracks those with each prospect, right? So when they say something like switch that to 2 p.m., the AI already has full context on what they're referencing. Also, while we're in memory, if you ever need to clear the memory, which is, remember, the memory essentially is referring to the spreadsheet. If you ever need to clear it, even after you delete this, you want to increment this number over here. The whole experience is programmed to feel genuinely human because the AI communicates naturally, zero high pressure sales tactics, just trying to give people authentic support, right? Okay, so now after the AI generates its reply, we push it back out through a Twilio node. And this is a send SMS response node. And then we immediately log that to Google Sheets with the direction tagged as out. So now we've got an ironclad record of the complete conversation with precise timestamps on both sides. So that is the full automation. With the prospect dials in, the call drops, text goes out, they reply, AI books them in, and then they're done, right? So now the Twilio integration, remember I mentioned that in the beginning. Let's wire it together. After you've created your Twilio account, I'm going to refer to this as webhook 1 and webhook 2. Literally just copy what I have, but you want to put webhook 1 at the top in 2 places right here, and then webhook 2 at the bottom right here. And then you need to connect Google Calendar, and you can do that by clicking into each of these 3 nodes, going up here and then toggling right this one to your actual calendar. Some final housekeeping, you're going to need to authenticate the Google Sheets nodes in a similar way that you did for the calendar. Okay. And that's using this credential right up here. All right. So now let's talk about AI prompt customization. If we click into here, you can see the full prompt, which is the brain of the AI. And this is where you can tailor everything, the whole AI to your system and your business. And this prompt is, you can think of it like an AI's operational manual that's going to dictate its communication style, what questions to ask, and most importantly, when to invoke each tool. Customize the agent's name, brokerage identity, operating hours, and time zone. Prompt is also going to handle edge case logic, like when it's 5 p.m. and someone requests the same day viewing, AI is going to recognize that's actually unrealistic. And it's going to suggest first time available tomorrow morning or whenever is available in the calendar, right? Or when someone also claims immediate urgency but describes casual browsing, the AI is going to recalibrate priority accordingly because all that intelligence is nicely programmed in our system prompt. You can also adjust the qualification sequence, since some agents that I've talked to do want mortgage pre-approval status up front, while others prioritize property type preferences, and I've seen others want timeline capture first. So you control all that, the entire flow inside your system prompt. All right, so that is the entire setup. If you still have questions, no worries, drop it in my school community, but let's go ahead and test this out. So I'm gonna go ahead and call the Twilio number and no one's gonna answer. You wanna make sure that your workflow is set to active, and this just enables your webhooks to receive calls from Twilio. So I'm gonna give it a call, and no one's gonna answer, right? So giving it a call, no one answered. I should be getting a text message fairly soon. As you can see, the text just came in, and so it says, hi, it's LA Real Estate. Sorry, we missed your call. Are you looking to buy, sell, rent, or invest? Okay, so sell it. Hi. And now at the same time, let's actually check out our spreadsheet because now it'll be updating. What's your name? Okay. So the spreadsheet is very important for auditing purposes. It really has all the information anyone would need for actually making sure the AI did its job. Okay, so now it's asking, thanks, Adiraj, what's your budget range for buying? When are you hoping to move? Do you have any must-haves? Pre-approved, baby. All right, so told at 3 million, 3 bed, 3 bath, or 4-3 if it's a great layout. 2-car minimum parking garage is a must. Prefer something move-in ready, modernish, but not a total remodel. Would love it to be walkable to restaurants, and the beach would be great. Some of the areas I like, gave it some of the areas I do like. And I want to move in 60 to 90 days, open a townhouse or family, and pre-approved, right? Okay, send it. All right, so it's asking for the best email to send a short list of options. We'll tell it email. All right, so it's actually asking in quick phone call or in-person meeting. Let's meet in person. And this is all getting logged, by the way. I've tested this out so many times and it's still so crazy to me that I'm having a conversation with an AI, right? Okay, so it's currently 5:38. Requirement of 2-hour notice, past business hours. Let's meet tomorrow at 9 a.m. So I told it tomorrow at 9 a.m. works fine. There we go. It actually booked me in for tomorrow at 9 a.m. as we discussed. So I just had a full conversation with AI over text and it just booked me into the agent's calendar with all my details. Realtors hemorrhage opportunities from unanswered calls constantly. And NAR research shows that average agents are missing 30% of inbound calls, and each one represents a motivated prospect who immediately moves down their contact list to the next agent. When you demonstrate the system and explain that it captures every missed call and automatically schedules showings while you're working, they understand the value instantly because the ROI is obvious. Plus, it's text-based, so it feels non-intrusive, where they're not surrendering their primary line to some robot, but this simply salvages what they physically couldn't answer, making it far less threatening than a full voice AI replacement. And you can charge monthly recurring, because every 30 days this automation is recovering leads they completely would have lost to competing agents, where one closed transaction covers 6 months of service fees, if not more. So the value conversation literally sells itself. And so that's your complete real estate reactivation system. If you want the full JSON workflows, the complete prompt files, everything's available inside my school community. Also in there, I'm running a free 5-day sprint with one focused action per day, built to get you your first AI agency client in under a week. If this video helped, like, subscribe, and comment which industry you want me to build out next, and I'll see you in the next one.